we want to become more familiar with the major scale at this point because we're going to start doing movable shapes from our chord shapes on the bottom 3 strings. We're going to also look at chord shapes on the 4th through to the 2nd string. And these are going to be built from the blueprint of our caged chord system. The shapes that we've looked at, the C, A, G, E, D. We're going to discover how these shapes are then going to be movable. Some variations there. But then how we can play minor and major chord qualities using these small shapes that are built upon the full chords. The reason we do this is so that we can have room to do variations, to be more creative, especially if we have a rhythm guitarist behind us. So, in other words, what we want to know is our major scale more confidently, and we're going to start looking at some octave shapes here. We want to take a look at how we can run a major scale using just octaves. Particularly, we're going to narrow down in the keys of C and G. So I want you to look at the C major scale, how we've been looking at it, using the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Go ahead and create a standard octave there on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. And now, see if you can run that major scale using that octave shape. The strategy is to mute the 4th string using your 1st finger. Half step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now, also what we want to know is we don't want to go too high on the neck. We want to know how to play the C major scale starting from anywhere on the neck. So, for example, if I'm playing a random note, let's find our C on, let's go to G now. Let's go to G, so 8th fret, 2nd string, and then 5th fret, 4th string. Now, G is the 5th of C, right? F, E, D. Run the major scale, the C major scale, from any position. C, B, A, G, F, E, D. Focus on staying within the range of the 12th fret and below, okay? What about another position like the G major scale, the G octave from the 3rd fret of the 6th string, 5th fret of the 4th string. Think about the C major scale, right? G, A, B, C. We're using different starting points, but we're sticking within the pattern of that particular key's major scale. So what then comes of this is we could take our shapes, right? We could start with what we looked at, the D shape, all right? Now in the C major scale, we have a D minor because it's the 2 in the C major scale. So if we're in the C major scale, we would start right here. Or, as you know in your C chord, you use the D major shape, but you bring it back to the open 1st string, open 3rd string, and then 1st fret of the 2nd string. You'd go to your minor 2 chord, D minor, then you would have an E minor, slide that up to. Now we're going to do a half step to our major F chord, major 4. Then we have a major 5, sliding up a whole step to A minor. We're going to use the minor shape. And now we looked at the 5-7 or the diminished shape. So how we find that from here is we move each one of these fingers up within that scale. So think E to F, A to B, and then C to D. And that's your diminished shape right there. So each one of these shapes are going to have 3 different forms. And what I mean by that is you have your major. So if we're playing the D shape, we had the major, we had the minor, and then we had that diminished shape right there. So that's what the diminished shape is going to look like. And that's just going to be for the 7th scale degree. Then we finish with C right there. So what about moving on to our E shape now? We could play, if we find our C chord, we're going to play the C major scale using these chord shapes here. E to C, think backwards. E, D to C. So we're going to go back a whole step to D. You can go ahead and play it on the 12th fret, because we know it's the same thing as this here. And then 13th fret, 3rd string. We move down a whole step, that's going to be our D major. And then another whole step is going to be C major. So there you are, right there. Now, we go up to D minor. That's going to be the shape right there. If we're in the E, so we go E minor shape. We could go and play the E minor right here, which is actually an E minor. D minor, E minor. That's the 3, the minor 3 in the C major. So, and then we have F major as our major 4th. And you'll notice how this is familiar because we looked at the full F major chord and then the F major 7 variation, particularly for rhythm guitarists in the key of C. And then we're going to go up a whole step to the 5, the major 5 chord. That's going to be your G major right there, using all the E shape. Okay, up a whole step to the minor shape, A minor. And then we have a diminished shape right here. It's going to be B diminished in this shape, the E shape. And then finishing with C major. So there you go. Same as that. Alrighty, so that leaves one more shape. We're going to look at the A shape. Alright, so if we have A right here, how do we make that a C? Well, A to B is a whole step, 2 frets, and then B to C is a half a step. So move one more fret up, and there you go. This is your C chord in the A shape. Alright, what about playing the minor shape, going up a whole step to play a D minor? There you go. Another whole step, minor shape, E minor. Then half step upwards, transitioning to our major shape. Major 5, and then you have your A minor right here. And if we put this back to the open register, you'll notice, oh, we have our full A minor chord here. Alright? We have a full A minor chord here. And then the diminished shape is going to be a little bit of a stretch here. You might need to change your finger position if you're new to just some finger placements here. But you have 4th fret, 3rd string, 3rd fret, 2nd string, 1st fret, 1st string. And then finish with major shape. So once more you have C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor again, then B diminished, C. And there you are. So that's your 3 shapes. That's running the C major scale on all 3 shapes. What about, we're going to look at 2 keys that are closely related on the circle of fifths. So how about G? Let's take a look at, firstly, our D shape, right? So how do I know G is right here? Well, take your D chord, D major, first shape, and place that. If we look at the musical alphabet, D to E, whole step, E to F, half a step, so that's 3 frets, and then F, so to E to F, and then F to G, whole step. So we're on the 7th fret right here, instead of the 2nd. Alrighty. So if we're starting on the G, we need to go to A minor, play this shape right here. We're going to go to B minor, C major, go back here, and then we're going to do D major, alright, E minor, that's going to be an F sharp diminished, and we'll finish back on G. Because you remember the key of G, we're going to have 1 sharp, that's going to be the F sharp, that's your 7th scale degree. Okay. And there you are, once more. There you are. Alright, how about your E shape? Alright, E chord. Now E to F is half a step, F to G is whole step. So you have G major, alright, G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, and finally G. And then lastly, what about A shape? Alright, so A, we go back a whole step, right, to get to G. So that's going to be from here to here. We're going to start right here. So we have G major, we go to A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, remember the diminished shape, F sharp diminished, and then G. And there you are. That's going to be running the C and G major scale using the bottom 3 strings, the 3 shapes. Alright, so now taking a look at some shapes from our 4th string to our 2nd string. You remember how in the shapes we had A, D, and E for the bottom 3 strings, but there was no G shape, and the C shape was using the D. Now, why was there no G shape? Well, remember how when we took a look at playing the G chord, the full G chord, and then just examining the bottom 3 strings, we weren't playing a 1, 3, and 5. We were playing a 1, a 3, and then an additional 1. And then if we played another variation, we had a 1, a 5, and a 1. So we're lacking the 3. But now, check this out. If you play the G major chord, you'll notice that your 4th through to the 2nd string are all open strings. And now take a look at what the notes are. We have D, that's going to be the 5 in the key of G, in the G chord. We have the 1, and then B is the 3. So you have your G major chord right here. So this is technically, on these strings, we can play a G major shape. So that's why I want to teach it to you first. Now, if you want to create a minor shape, what's going to happen is we're going to play this right here. And if we're in the key of G, for the sake of simplicity, because we're using open strings, so G major scale, we're going to play A minor next. The 3rd is going to be on the B string. So we're going to make that a flat instead of the major. This would be A major if we brought it up 2 frets. And if you notice something, that resembles our A major chord, right? And then if you notice this, so now we're resembling our A minor chord. We're flattening the 3rd, which is played on the B string. So we go from open, G major, whole step to A minor, and then another whole step to B minor, okay? 5th fret, you can play your major shape, G major shape. It's on the 5th fret too. Remember how we looked at the 4th is on the 5th fret, and then the 5th is on the 7th fret. So there you go. It's gonna be C major, D major, and then once more, you have E minor right here. Okay. Now you'll notice something too. This is resembling your A shape, your A minor shape. So technically, this is an A shape right here. We're using the A shape in the G major chord, or the G minor. The reason why we don't have a minor shape is because it's kind of impractical with, when we play the G chord alone, if we move the whole shape up, right? So to A major, for example. To make it minor, it's going to be rather difficult because we have to flatten 2/3 that are played. We have a 3rd in the 5th string, and then a 3rd in the 2nd string. And so to do that, you would have to go and then flatten another one. It's just going to be, it's impossible unless you're John Mayer. But I'll show you ways how we can break that up and play the A/G shape with using 4 strings instead of playing all 6 strings. So that summarizes how we're using, like the C chord in the bottom 3 strings, using the D shape. The G chord in the strings from the 4th string to the 2nd string is using the A shape. They're interchangeable. So back to the G major scale, you have G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, This is going to be F sharp diminished. This is your shape right here. So it's using the 10th fret, same fret on the 4th and 2nd string, and then 3rd string is going to be one higher fret. You could play like a D chord, or you could arrange your fingers to where you're barring the 10th fret using your first finger. And then finish with G major. So once more, G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, G major. Alright, the next shape is going to be this G major right here. This is using your E shape. Notice how you play your E shape on the bottom 3 strings, and then you can add or take away the 1st string, add in the 4th string. But you're playing the major chord shape, the E major chord shape right here. We're starting on the 5th fret, where our 3rd finger is. 2nd finger is on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. 1st finger is on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. The minor shape, moving up a whole step, is going to be flattening the 3rd, and the 3rd is going to be played, the B note, in the 3rd string. So we take that shape up, we have A major, A minor right here. And I'm barring this one, the 5th fret, on the 3rd and 2nd string. So major, G major, A minor, whole step to B minor, okay, minor 3rd, then it's going to be C major, D major, E minor. And if you go back to this right here, this shape right here, E minor shape. Yep, so the E minor and major shape are both being used. So you have G major, A minor, whole step to B minor, half step, major shape, C major, D major, whole step to the minor shape, you have E minor right here, C. And then, right here is your diminished shape. Bit of a stretch, like on the bottom 3 strings. So it's going to be 4th fret, 4th string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, 1st fret, 2nd string. Then finish with G major. So F sharp diminished, G major. Once more, G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, G major. So that's your E shape right there. So we've looked at the G or the A shape, the E shape, and then lastly we're going to look at the C shape. This is going to be where our 3rd, the B note, is in the bass. So a 1st inversion now. We looked at the E shape being 1st inversion, root position, and then the 1st position was 2nd inversion because D was in the bass. That's the 5th. So A shape or G shape, then E shape, 1st inversion, root position, and then 1st inversion right here. This is going to be, 3rd finger goes on the 9th fret of the 4th string, 1st finger goes on 7th fret of 3rd string, 2nd finger goes on the 8th fret of your 2nd string. And if you notice, this resembles a C chord right here. If you bring this to open, you have a C chord. All you have to do to make it full is add in your 3rd fret on the 5th string and play the open 1st string. But you have a C chord right here. So we have a C chord shape using the 4th string down to the 2nd string. Alright? C chord shape, playing a G, moving it up to the G. So we have our G major. Alright, we're going to move it up to A minor. So we're bringing back 1 fret on the 4th string this time, because that's where our 3rd is being played. So we go. Alright, Now we're going to move that minor shape, which is on the 10th fret, 4th string, and 2nd string, and 9th fret, 3rd string. Move that up, whole step, B minor, alright? We have C major, as we know, back here. D major, alright? E minor. Now what's this right here? This is F sharp diminished. We're going to continue to move from the 5th fret to the 7th fret on the 4th and 2nd string, but we're going to have our 5th fret on the 3rd string. You can change your finger position here too. If it's a little uncomfortable to stretch out your 2nd and 3rd finger, you can do right here. And then G major. So once more, G major, okay. A minor, B minor, C major, also here, D major, E minor, F sharp diminished, and then G major. Alrighty, so we've taken a look at our 3 shapes now in the 4th through to the 2nd string. For the G major scale, how about the C major scale? Let's look at both 2 keys in both of the string shapes. So, C major, I would start with the simple one, right? We know our C major shape right here. So why not work with that? Okay, so we have this here. We have D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and then C major. So see how we're using the same pattern, just a different starting position. That's the whole idea I want you to have here. So what we learn, all the patterns and shapes, it's all movable to whatever key you're playing in. The G major shape now, or the A major shape, we know that open is G, upper whole step is going to be A, upper whole step to B, and then half step to C. Alright, starting with C major. Now, D minor, upper whole step, minor shape to E minor, half step to F major, whole step to G major. Then we can go minor shape, whole step. Alright. This shape right here to B diminished, and then finally C. So that leaves our last shape, which is going to be the E shape. Now from E to C, we can go backwards, we can think backwards, we can go, start right here, down a whole step is going to be to D, and then another whole step will be C. Okay, so C, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, C major. And there you are, that's your keys of C and G, running the 3 shapes of the bottom 3 strings, and then the string groupings of the 4th string to the 2nd string.